Questions other
Recording
than
in progress.
me? I can't.
Probably gonna address ours anyway. Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Epps, you said you're going to turn this into a park. Is there some time frame that the county's planning on having this accomplished?
At this point, there is no time frame where it's outlined in the Lower Richland Tourism Plan, which has been recommended for amending into the comprehensive plan by the Planning Commission and is coming before council probably next year. And the time frame is not outlined in there. It's still in the concept stages.
Okay. Also, you stated in the background information that this bridge had been damaged. It was a wooden bridge in early February 2020 due to a flood that took place. And was there any attempt to get FEMA or other government funds toward the repair or replacement of this bridge since it was caused by a natural disaster, we'll say?
Well, that particular flood, I don't think was listed on the FEMA disaster grant program. However, we are attempting to get funds from other federal sources and have applied for those sources. And we're hoping that we will get, we asked for $525,000 out of the 700 on a grant application that we did apply for. So yes, we are searching for funds from the feds to offset our costs.
Okay, and I noticed that you also indicated due to the expedited design phase, the Conservation Commission approved moving forward with this project at its October 17th, 2022 meeting. So if it was in October, can I ask you, why wasn't this on either the October or November agenda for the committee? And we waited another 30 days till December, especially since now we're being told, hey, hurry up.
I'm not sure I have the answer for that one. I'd have to go back and look some stuff and get back to you. It may be that we didn't get the 3 weeks ahead of time to get it into the, it's probably a timing thing because we have to get it in so it can be reviewed by administration, and we probably missed it.
I won't call Ms. Myers in to find out on that one, but I always say any excuse is better than no excuse, so that's a good job. Why do we have a 20% contingency for this? Seems kind of high. I'm talking about replacing one bridge here. And I mean, I understand contingencies. You're going to say they're for items when something comes up that you didn't plan for, and so we need to set these funds aside. We're talking about a wooden bridge or a bridge that's there. It's kind of obvious what we're doing. I don't think we're really going to find a whole lot of something different other than what's there and has been there for years. So why would we have a 20% contingency and not have it more like 10%?
Well, as the price of construction has gone up and down quite a bit recently, that's the reason for the contingency at 20%.
And my understanding was contingencies were used to pay for items that come about that weren't foreseen during the bid process. So if we get a bid, we should be able to pretty much have it nailed exactly what we need. And the 10% contingency, because they get under there and say, well, we needed to replace an additional steel beam that we didn't notice.
Well, once we do have the bid, then it will change. Right now, all we have is an engineer's estimate, which is very different from a bid. And we've seen some of those come in widely ranging. And so that's one of the reasons for the 20% contingency. However, if council so desires, we can move forward with a 10% contingency. That we aren't stuck on that specific number.
Okay, let me ask the administrator or Attorney Wright, what's the purpose of a contingency? I'm hearing now that this is a contingency in case the bid price is higher. That's not what I understood it to be. Could somebody answer that, please?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
From my understanding is that the contingency is basically the difference to whatever the difference is in what the expected price and the actual price is. For example, it could be that they found something that was not expected, or it could be that, as has been lately, that the prices fluctuate a lot. So today the price could be, just say, for $10,000 for a widget, but they may not actually be able to get the bid in and get the prices till 2 months from now. And instead of 10,000, it might be 18,000. So we don't know, because the prices have been fluctuating lately since, I guess, the last couple of years since the pandemic. So the past couple of years, that's been a bigger reason. Prior to 2020, it's usually because we found something that we weren't expecting to find. Now it's a large part is because the prices change from week to week.
Okay, so, and that's what I thought it used to be, in case they find something they didn't expect, but now it is because of the potential cost, even though we don't have a bid or a dollar amount yet.
Right.
Okay. I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Epps and Attorney Wright. Ms. McBride.
Here. The special reserve fund balance. Are those funds, are those general funds? Or where are these funds coming from?
No, ma'am. I believe in the packet, and excuse me for interrupting Mr. Epps. She was making eye contact with me, so I believe she was trying to give me the answer.
Well, I didn't know.
That's it. Yes, ma'am. That's okay.
I usually look at Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. So if you in the packet, it specifically says Richland County Conservation Commission. So you do have that particular commission does have specific funding that is funding that they have that's what they're talking about using to transfer to operations.
So your funding comes so much from the county, then so much comes from private and federal government and all of that. So that's a part of that. All right. So in your special reserve fund balance, like at the county, we try to get a certain percentage in our fund balance. Do you do the same, or?
I'll interrupt again. I don't believe that the Conservation Commission has a requirement to hold a certain fund balance like we do as a governmental agency.
Yes, that's correct.
Anyone else? No further discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Malinowski.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Mackey. Yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. I'd just like to let my colleagues and other staff members know I did just hear from Councilman Joe Walker. He apologized for the late notice in telling us this, but he said he's got a family matter that came up is why he's unable to attend today. Item number 4B, Department of Public Works Road Maintenance Fund Revenue, pages 185 to 187. Administrator Brown.
Yes, sir. In your packet, you will see a list of specific items that Public Works listed out, but I will just remind you all that the reason why this is coming before you is because there was a lawsuit at one point in time concerning the use of the road maintenance fee. And so our staff for over, I guess, a year now has heeded the council's request to not utilize funds from there until that matter was resolved. You may recall that there was a certain resolution to that matter, even though I think it's back before judicial system again, but staff has not been able to use those funds, and as a result has not been able to do the work. And at this point in time, it's becoming a hindrance to the continuation of the improvements that are needed in these areas. So we are asking through this particular item, Mr. Malinowski, as the chair, members of the committee, that we be allowed to use those funds so that these roads don't continue to get worse as we're waiting for hopefully the full resolution of using road maintenance funds that are gotten from the user fee.
Administrator Brown, you'll see the staff recommendation at the top of page 185.
Mr. Chair.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Malinowski,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 4C. If anyone has any objection to this, we can more than likely take 4C, D, and E together. It's my understanding they're all updates for previously signed agreements with these municipalities, one with Forest Acres, one with the town of Irmo, one with the town of Eastover. Why don't we we'll make sure that we do them one at a time and get it done right here. So item C, 4C, page 188 to 197. We've got the staff recommendation at the top of page 188. Administrator Brown, anything else you'd like to say?
I'm sorry. No, sir. The staff recommendation does include that first section, which is consistent with the agreements that we previously entered in. The additional information under there is not what staff is recommending when, okay, he's shaking his head. So hopefully everybody is aware of that. The first line was there, staff recommends, and it stops with the end of animal care services. That's staff's recommendation. Any information below that is information telling you what the other jurisdiction asked of us, but that is not staff's recommendation.
Right.
Yes. In other words, these 4, C, D, and E, they have the same, we're using the same percentage, we're using the same prices. It's consistent.
Yeah, our agreements with them are standard agreements with these agencies that we provided before.
Everybody is paying a certain amount for the animal services.
A certain amount, that's correct.
And all of that is consistent.
Consistent based on their jurisdiction, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And
We're not waiving any fees for anyone based on.
That is not our recommendation.
Okay.
And the staff recommendation is consistent as with this one throughout all of them, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
Right. Right. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I noticed we have 3 municipalities here. Do we have any agreements with any other municipalities in Richland County, or is it just these 3 that we serve?
I do have the director on the line as well. Director Haynes, if you can address that, if you can hear the council.
We also have intergovernmental agreements with the town of Blythewood and the town of Arcadia Lakes.
And are theirs just haven't expired? Is that why they're not included in this one?
Right. We just did Arcadia Lakes about a year ago, and the town of Blythewood has not expired.
Thank you.
I have one additional question. Were you done, Ms. Maggie? Okay. And that is on page 191, item number 4. It says this agreement shall commence on the date set forth above and shall continue unless terminated by either party upon such party giving 6 months written notice to the other of its intent to terminate this agreement. 6 months seems quite a bit of time to me, because that's where we wound up having a problem with the detention center and agreements that were in place. You miss it by 1 day, 6 months out, you're stuck for another year, or is it 5 years in this case? So
Yes.
what is there a reason we don't have that shortened up to like maybe 60 or even 90 days?
I'm not going to give a definitive answer, Mr. Malinowski. We certainly could consider that. I would think as a governmental agency, because of the way people have meetings, because of budget cycles, it's good relationship business from a governmental entity to give them enough time, because they may be dealing with budgetary constraints that they now have to address, which they may not be able to address until the next budget cycle, which may be several months from now. So things of that nature that deal with funding, I believe that's why we probably do that as Richland County, out of our awareness of that.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. Thank you. And your staff is programmed that these will be filed in there so that we're not going to miss a deadline if we decide we don't want to continue.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you, Administrator Brown. Any other discussion? Let's see, we got a motion and a second on this.
I have a motion, Mr. Malin. I'm sorry, Mr. Malinowski, but I'm going back to your original suggestion of moving for C, D, and E based on the information I have.
Okay. We got a substitute motion here that we will take on items 4, C, D, and E at the same time and approve the staff recommendation on each one. Is there a second? And a second. No other discussion, Madam Clerk?
Malinowski.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 5A, pending analysis, no action required. 5B, same thing. Y'all can read those if you haven't. They've been on there for quite a while. It tells us what staff is doing, whereabouts they are. And not going to belabor that point. It's all written out there for you. Okay. I'll move along to item number 6. Oh, wait a minute. Ms. Mackey.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I just wanted to say one last time, thank you for your leadership as Chair of the Administration and Finance Committee. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Motion
that.
to adjourn.
Okay. And a second, a motion in a second. Madam Clerk.
I don't know if I want to do this one.
Please.
Malinowski.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, everyone, for attending in person on the Zoom and signing out for 2022. And in my case, signing out of council. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, huh?